So what would you do with the Chenoo bubble?
Do you like 150 days of winter?
Let's do this.
To geek the hell out. So, if you didn't know it, Courchevel are having a public inquiry into how they should replace the Chenoo bubble at the end of this month. Now again, if you didn't know, Chenoo is one of the 3 lifts that come out of the Croisette in Courchevel 1850, and it's actually the smallest of the 3 bubbles, being a 4-man. Next door to it is the Verdon, which is an 8-man, and on the other side there's the Jardin Alpin, which is a 6-man. And part of their proposal is to upgrade Chenoo from a 4-man bubble to a 10-man, and at the same time dismantle the beloved 4-man Cox chair that goes to the same destination. Currently it can handle about 1,200 people an hour, and the journey from the bottom to the top takes about 8 minutes. And of course their main points being they want to improve safety of the ski area, they want to improve satisfaction with customers, they want to develop summer attractiveness, and of course reduce upkeep and maintenance costs. Here are my thoughts, okay, where on their points where they say improve safety of the ski area and reduce maintenance costs. I was here when they actually upgraded Chenoo in '95 from the lovely old fiberglass Pommer eggs to the current eggs that they have there at the moment, that I believe were originally installed in 1969. Now, unlike Verdon and Jardin Alpin, Chenoo was never upgraded in size. Verdon was upgraded from a 4-man to an 8-man, Jardin Alpin 4-man to a 6-man, and of course this is because if you have a look inside of the lower lift station, there isn't any room. There is barely room for a 4-man bubble. The thought of trying to get install a 10-man into Chenoo at the moment would be rather impossible. And of course the upper station is the same. I think this one was actually built, it's this original lift upper station, which was built in 1969, and of course this is where they store all the bubbles when they are not being used. This begs the question, how are they going to do this? Now, from what I've been told, they're actually going to move the lift station from that side of the piste to this side where I'm currently standing. They're actually going to have to go and replace the entire set of pylons, etc., to handle larger bubbles. But and of course you might ask, why are they thinking of moving the lift station from here to here? Well, of course they're also looking in the future to completely redevelop the Croisette, and of course by moving this lift station completely out to the other side of the piste, it means that first of all they can immediately demolish the old lift station, but of course when it comes down the line to replace the whole thing, they will have one less lift to worry about. As part of their reasoning for upgrading the Chenoo also includes the dismantling of the Cox chair, which is behind me. Now, the only problem with that is that if they were trying to say that, of course, by shutting the Cox chair they will get an influx of new people who will be using Chenoo, well, as of last season, and I'm sure actually the season before, Cox chair has barely been running. I think last season it was open for a grand total of 2 weeks, and again only for the Parisians in high season, so again so they could go up the hill to Bagatelle. All other times, maybe with the really brief exception of really high winds, this has been inactive. Now, on their second point, to satisfy customers, at the moment there were about 3 groups of people who currently use the Chenoo. Okay, first of all, beginners. There are a few blue runs that come down from the top, and from what I understand, it's very popular with beginners. Then you have the second group, which are more reluctant, and they are the people who live in Latania. They have let it be known that they actually prefer either using the Cox chair or using Plantry instead of having to deal with the queues and general malaise of the whole Croisette. And of course this leaves the third group. And of course this being Courchevel, yes, of course it is the people who go for lunch up at Bagatelle. And of course, if I'm being cynical, I'd say that this is the reason that they are doing this whole upgrade. So certain people can go to lunch and without having to sit in a crowded 4-man bubble, and instead stretch out their legs in a nice new 10-man bubble. Now, one of the points that they also say is to develop summer attractiveness. Now, I'm not sure about this, but because in the summer at the moment, Courchevel only has about 3 or 4 bubbles open. They've got Le Prat bubble that comes up, and they basically only run the Verdon, Vizelle, and the Solier, well, until they broke it. However, that's going to be fixed this summer, finally. A couple of summers ago, they even had Plantry running, which I believe they put a mountain bike adapter on the Plantry lift as well. Again, I would say the main impediment to this in the summer is, of course, lift pass prices. So to compare summer lift pass prices, most of the other big resorts in this area which favour mountain biking, of course, offer free lift passes. So if you have price conscious holiday makers, they are never going to spend a fortune for a family of lift passes here, when of course they can go to other resorts and of course do their summer activities free. I'm not saying that Chenu doesn't need to be upgraded. The existing bubble is over 30 years old, and I believe that when they talk about maintenance, of course, older lifts cost more to maintain and so on. However, I would say that there are more lifts in Courchevel that are in more need of an upgrade. I mean, I said it before, but personally I think that the Verdon should be upgraded from an 8-man to a 10-man, and it should be directly linked to the Vizelle, turning the base of Vizelle into a mid-station. I believe when you start talking anywhere about upgrading lifts, you look for bottlenecks. And of course, if anybody has ever looked around the Croisette in the winter, you will see the biggest queue is the Verdon. Now, of course, the Verdon was built in '92, which of course makes it 32 years old, which of course brings it into that 30-year period. However, after all of this, I think that their public inquiry is, we've already made our mind up, and we just want to hear from some people but we're never actually going to change anything. This whole process is going on from the 21st of May to the 21st of June. If you would like to let the Mairie know what you think, then the link to their page is down below. I believe you can send them emails, and they're having several meetings as well, and so on and so forth. Of course, if you would like to tell me what you think, I would be more than interested to read your comments down below. If you enjoy not so silly videos like this, there's always the subscribe button down below, and also the like button. And with that in mind, I will see you all in the next video. Ciao.